how white this sand is. Hey guys, so about 24 hours ago I asked online to send me your questions, ask me anything, and I got an influx of questions from people on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and on email. So thank you for sending that across, and I was going to answer it at the location I was going to. So if you haven't figured it out, I'm in Hyams Beach in Jervis Bay, which is about 3 hours or so drive from Sydney in New South Wales, Australia. So if you've never been here, definitely check it out. It's a beautiful place. And apparently it's got the whitest sand in Australia, if not one of the whitest sand beaches in the world. So Google it, check out other photos and whatnot, but hopefully I gave you a taste of it. All right, so the questions, let's dive straight into it in no particular order. This one here is from nictecreativedesign from Instagram, and the question asked was, one of my itching questions, I love helping mission-driven companies, but sometimes that means they have no budget. How can we as designers improve the value of our industry? How can we create compelling brands for great causes, but not doing it for free? I've been a designer for years now, and I don't want to devalue our industry, but still make a difference for great causes. I think we all think of these issues at some point in our career. In my mind, it's a matter of knowing that what you do for money can be different to what you love. So for example, I love training and going to the gym, but I don't ever see myself being a personal trainer. I love cooking and eating great food and nice fresh produce and things like that, but I would never see myself really being a chef or anything like that. So as a designer, I think it's important to know that sometimes you're designing things to fund certain projects or certain other ways of contributing. So if that means, designing so that you could fund and give your free time or your spare time to help other charities or designing for other causes, that's kind of okay. I think the fact of the matter is these sort of great causes might not have budgets, and they do rely on people like us and all types of designers and resources to contribute a bit of their time and a bit of their skill set. It's the same as doctors flying out to do medical missions and things like that. So I think that's the way that you've got to look at it. It's not to say that it will always be that way, but I think for the most part, you just got to take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is, and there is a fair bit of donating of your time, but that's not to say that we want you to starve or not make good money. Some clients you're going to have with great budgets, but not be as fulfilling in terms of the creative output. But that's okay, because I think you've got to look at the bigger picture. In that you are going to be contributing in a different way. Even if it's taking the money that you're making from there and it evening out when you take on clients that aren't paying as well or as much as you'd like. In terms of the devaluing our industry, it's a matter of choosing where you're investing your skill set. So, and I think a lot of times we forget that we've got a choice, and no one's forcing you to design for major corporations. No one's forcing you to design for clients that you don't enjoy doing work for. So if you find a balance, I think that's the key. Okay, I got one from malamigs from Instagram. What does your perfect day look like? Well, this is pretty perfect. I think anything with a beach and the ocean, away from the hustle and bustle of everything, is always nice for me. But my perfect day looks like getting a good amount of sleep, probably about 8 hours, waking up fresh, going for a nice hearty breakfast, high protein, vegetable juice included, and a big glass of water with squeeze of lemon perhaps, and going to the gym, and also squeezing in a session at the beach. That would be my ideal day, and writing a blog post and kind of just yeah, being in the outdoors. I think if I can tick all those boxes, that's my perfect day. Okay, the next question I was asked was from I'm Angela Miranda from Instagram, and she asked, within the design industry, what is one situation that you have done that you regret on doing, proud of doing, and would change on doing? One situation that I've done that I regret on doing, probably a few, to be honest with you. We live and we learn. I think in the design industry, what I found was quite testing was, I guess, your threshold to communicate and work with other people, and sort of just knowing more about yourself and how you deal with situations, whether that be within your team or whether that be within a client situation where, you know, sometimes it's rounds and rounds of changes, and then also from a business point of view, you know, I think there are things that can always be improved from a communication standpoint. So if I was to change something, I mean, it would be probably to remember that there are different hats that you have to wear, not to take things personally, that a lot of the times there are there are decisions and conversations to be had from a business point of view. Yeah, so I think I could have better handled a lot of those situations, you know. And what else? So yeah, I guess just responding better to people and whatnot. There's a bug on me, sorry. There's a lot of bugs here. And actually, sorry to like kind of go in a tangent here, but when people say that there are deadly creatures in Australia, that's only if you go like far away from big cities such as Sydney, or Melbourne, or wherever you are. So just a little FYI, because there are dangerous creatures, but that's because Australia is such a massive land of space, and if you go into the outback or in the middle of nowhere, then you should definitely bring some repellent. All right, cool. Now on Facebook, here we go. Linda Sev says, nice jacket. Where is it from? You said ask anything. I did ask you to ask me anything. So the little cardigan jacket thing that I was wearing on the video with the shoulder patches and woven woolen get up was actually from Top Man online, and but that was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm not sure if they make it anymore, but Top Man do occasionally make the nice woven woolen cardi. So check it out, Top Man. Paul Benzi Florendo asked, what pushed you to be who you are today? Smiley face. Well, I love that question. What pushed me was a lot of things, but mainly I think would be my parents. Simply put, I think they instilled hard work and determination and just unwavering tenacity and the ability to dream big in me as a little boy. So I would say them. They really pushed me to kind of have the life I wanted, with the exchange of knowing that you have to work bloody hard to get it. Adolfo Perez on Facebook asked me, what are the best and worst experiences you've had in the industry? Okay, so there have been many experiences that have been amazing, to be honest with you. The best would have to be more recently, actually. So I've been in the industry for almost 12 years now, and to be able to have traveled the world designing and having the means to travel the world is definitely on the top of the list. I've visited over 30 countries, over 100 cities, and if it wasn't for this lifestyle of design, that wouldn't have been able to be the same, I guess, same type of stories that I'm writing in this little journey of mine. So the other thing is I was able to kind of take design and make it something of my own, in that I love designing, but I also liked helping people live their dream of the same path. So, started giantthinkers.com, the blog, and then that led me to writing a book, and then that book led me to a speaking tour across the United States. So I visited 22 cities in 3 months, and that was very recently, and to have not had speaking engagements to that degree ever, and to have met so many people. I engaged with over 10,000 people during that trip, was just mind-blowing for me. And I think if it wasn't for design, then it wouldn't have been as fulfilling going through that. And yeah, now, just being able to freelance and take on contracts is really exciting. It allows me to balance my life and to kind of just see what the next big goal is. So the worst experiences. Ooh, okay. Well, the worst would I think as you continue in the industry, the worst doesn't seem that bad. I think you end up maturing and learning a lot from interactions, as I kind of mentioned earlier in one of the other questions. But I think the worst experiences would have to be at the beginning, because to get your foot in the door is extremely hard. But once you get going, it doesn't become easy as such, but it becomes more real. When you study or you finish a course and you don't have your first job in the industry, it's still, there's a bit of limbo there, kind of going and thinking, have I made the right decision? I haven't gotten paid yet, I haven't got my first paycheck, I'm not working in industry, was it all worth it? You question yourself, you might doubt yourself and things like that. So it's definitely starting out. The first year, I'd say, was quite difficult. I mean, I started in the mailroom, and that was after finishing under scholarship as well. So I worked in the mailroom at an advertising agency called Ogilvy and Mather. So I started there, and you're dealing with people's mail and sorting out mail and giving newspapers to people, pushing the trolley around every morning, stocking fridges, changing light bulbs. And you think, wow, I finished my course in design and I'm doing this. But you got to look past that, and you got to think, look, this is a stepping stone, and sometimes you need to take a side step in order to take a forward step. Andres Pereja asked, do you feel like you're choking wearing that scarf? Sometimes I do, but sometimes, you need that when it gets really cold. Andres is actually from Canada, so hello, all the way in Canada. I might need to get some scarf wearing tips if that's what you're implying. Anthony Critcher asked me, what's pi equal to 8 decimal points? If this question was asked on Mars. I'm not really a maths person. However, I think the answer you're looking for on Earth and Mars is 3.14159.265. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Anthony. Okay, the next question is from Jessica San Jose via Facebook, and she wrote, why did you write the book, or rather, why did you want to write it? I've read it, but still is a lot of work for the fun of it. All right, so the ending of the book actually has the reason why, which is probably why she's written it that way. But the book, of course, is how to get a job as a designer, guaranteed. And I think for me, I found that there was such a lack in the information in order to get a job, specifically in the design industry. And I had to piece everything together, and I still hadn't stumbled after all this time, over a decade in the industry. I still haven't found anything that really just consolidates everything. And so it was really to scratch my own itch and to help others in the same situation. And on top of that, it was the next thought or idea that I had from the Giant Thinkers blog. So mind you, the blog, giantthinkers.com, was just my mate and I in a pub, and we were just talking about an idea, and he suggested, hey man, you should probably just kill two birds with one stone and not repeat answering people via email or Twitter, and just start a blog. So I did, and then kicked off, and the idea of the book came along, and then now, because I've done the book, I'm like, what's next? And then so I just started a podcast. So there's a lot of exciting things happening at the moment. So I guess it's just finding new ways of reaching people and helping people. All right, on Twitter, I got a question from Thor Johan. What is the hardest question you've gotten in an interview, and how did you get out of it / around it? All right, so the hardest question I've gotten in an interview would probably be about money. The good old negotiating topic. So any question around that, before I found that was probably the most challenging thing. The other questions, I think, just come naturally in that that in the back of your head of the things that you have to prepare for. So I think you're prepared for those things. Questions such as, why should we give you the job? So then you kind of talk about your abilities and your competency levels and your attitude and things like that. You're selling yourself, right? So I think all these questions are directing to being the right fit. But then when it comes to talking about money, a lot of people are uncomfortable by that. And I was at the very beginning, especially when I was starting out. So anything to do with the salary was something that was probably the hardest for me. And how did I get around it? Well, at the time I kind of just buckled, and so I learned from that. I buckled to whatever they were going to offer, and I didn't think about my situation. And that's kind of strange because when you've got other industries, whether it be law or other whether it be science or engineering or things like that, they're so clear about their offering and their value. And sometimes designers don't completely believe in their value, and they're so in love with the idea of just being able to design and get paid for it that they don't think about the details of how much. Nowadays, I've really defined my why, and because of that, when I say what I feel that I'm worth, I believe it. And if you don't believe it, then they won't either. So how do you get around it? Well, it's a simple case of you being happy with what you're getting. So when you're asked that question, just be honest and take into account, your living situation, your financial goals. Some cities are more expensive than others. You might be saving for a car or a house or whatever it is. So that has to be taken into account, and you can say that. I'm after X amount salary per year, and that's taking into account the financial goals that I have and the lifestyle that I have at the moment. And that's it. You don't need to explain too much about that. But quick plug for Ted Lionheart, Leonhardt. I think that's how it's spelled. Anyway, Ted Lionheart. Definitely check out his stuff. He's incredibly helpful and has helped me a lot with negotiating. The next question is from Fred Zimmerman on Twitter, and he asked me, what are the biggest new trends in design that we haven't yet seen? I think that more and more designers need to be thinking about experiences, and that's all everything ever comes down to. Because if you look at designed experiences such as Uber or Airbnb or even more recently Periscope, these are designed experiences where the design comes way after the mapping of the user experience. So they're making it very easy for people to use that product or service with keeping in mind that it's improving their lifestyle. For me, that trend will continue. So it's more not about the design execution as such, but about designed experiences. I know that there are many conversations about design strategy and concepts first, and that had always been the way of thinking, you know, but I think now more than ever it's adapting to what is actually happening right now, which is, okay, working remotely, working off the cloud, that's one. Being accommodating to devices. There should be essentially Wi-Fi everywhere. And I think this can cater for different pockets of demographics. So anything that caters for the now, you know, the technology that is emerging, whether it's the Apple Watches or, you know, the drones or whatnot. I think they're all coming to fruition. You know, how can we use that to make people's lives better? What do people really need? The next question is from Rodeo on Facebook. Rodeo, I see what you did there. Awesome. So his question is, what are some valuable skills to pick up post-college, and how/where to pick them up? The answer to that would be mentors. So find mentors, not just face-to-face mentors, but on the online space. Find people who are doing what you ultimately want to be doing yourself. Surround yourself by the best and always keep learning. But these people, these mentors, they have paved the path for you. They've made the mistakes that you don't really have to make. So it's hugely valuable to fast track your learning by being surrounded by people that are doing things in the space that you want to specialize in, or the skills that you want to improve on. You might have a mentor specifically to help you freelance, or to start a business, or to help you with public speaking, or to present to clients, or specifically about typography or image retouching, whatever. You can have multiple mentors for specific things, or you could have one mentor to be the jack of all trades. Sorry, there's a bug eating all of me right now. The next question is from Christine Valentine. All right, now listen up, guys. This is a very great question because I do find that it's quite common, and I got this quite a lot when I was on my speaking tour in the States. Christine asks me, how do I bounce back after graduating 3 years ago and having a few false starts in my design career? How do I stay up to date and current without being employed yet? All right, so firstly, I gotta say thank you for asking that. It's incredibly brave of you. The thing is, there are two thoughts of this. The first is your attitude. You have to have an attitude that projects into a mindset that says, I will be a designer, or I will be this person no matter what. And when that is, time will tell. But it's not a question of if I'll be, it's a question of when. A lot of the times we still are not convinced that we will be. I think it's important to decide that you will be. It's just a question of when you'll be. And it's a mindset of inevitable success, that you are going to be this person of this great vision that you have, and you might not know all the answers to get there, but you've decided that you're going to be that, and so all your energy and all your efforts have to go to that. Now the second part to this is the practical steps to get there. Bouncing back from after 3 years of graduating and not having any experience in design might be because of a few reasons. You know, you might be incredibly well traveled, you might have started a family, you might have tried something else, and these are all great things. So you've got to look at whatever your situation is
as a good thing, and you have to leverage what you did in those 3 years. The other thing is you have to have an incredibly tenacious, sort of relentless willingness to get experience. So how do you do that? It can come in very different ways. You can self-teach yourself. You can watch creative live classes. You can watch Linda classes. You can watch tutorials online, or you can read stuff. You can buy books. You can whatever. There's really no excuse not to self-teach yourself, which you should be doing regardless if you're studying at college or university or whatnot. So you have to continue to learn and be able to show that you are capable of performing on the job. So if you're designing for a company, sometimes you'll have to typeset. You'll have to know a lot about branding. You'll have to know about creating websites, maybe not so much coding, but it wouldn't hurt to learn. You might need to know about retouching. You might need to know about social media ads such as Facebook. You might need to know about data and how that affects your executions. There isn't a okay, this is the only way to get in the industry. In my mind, I would first ask yourself, what do you want? Why do you want it? And then figure out how you're going to get there. So when I say ask yourself what do you want, what kind of designer, first of all, so that you can find out what are the mandatories and the criteria for that role. And why do you want it is going to get you through the pain threshold. Why do you really want that? And how is a matter of ticking off all the boxes. So if there's something lacking in the skill set, let's say you want to be a digital designer, for example, you'll need to know about web design and app design, designing for mobile, designing for social media, email, mailers or newsletters, designing for data such as infographics, all types. So you've got to learn the best practices for those things, and if you're lacking, then you're going to have to pick up your game. And you've got all types, from free resources to paid resources, online and classes offline too. So there's a whole bunch. That's how you stay up to date. How do I stay up to date? A little thing that I do, which is a daily ritual, is online in the mornings. I just stroll through blogs, whether it's Fastco or even Pinterest. I try to get as much inspiration as I can and just feed my mind with a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully, Christine, that answers your question. Sharita from Tampa Bay in Florida. She asked me, my background is in graphic design, mainly print. I have web experience, but I need to strengthen my skills. Are there any web certifications I can obtain in this area? I took a class in web design for 4 months, but it was not very organized, so I'm trying to teach myself at this point. All right, Sharita, I would firstly check out online resources. Some that you can pay for include creativelive.com, General Assembly, Udemy, lynda.com. There's a whole bunch. I actually wrote an article about it, so if you type in AIGA on Google and type in UX courses, Ram Castillo, type that, you'll find the blog post that I wrote, and there's a whole list of stuff on there. This one's from Alicia James. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Alicia. Thank you for asking. It's always nice to be asked from time to time, so thank you. Now, the other question you had was, how do you recover from burnout? Okay, basically, I see burnout as doing one thing constantly and not stepping away from that thing. and then it becomes a chore, and then it becomes painful, and then you start hating it and resenting it. So balance, and it all comes down to choice. Just choosing to go away from whatever it is, the screen or the work for a minute or two or 10 minutes. You know, some people don't even step away from their desk for 8 to 10 hours. Some people forget to have lunch. So get some fresh air, always do that. But in more practical terms, I make sure that I factor in my daily rituals or my morning routines in without fail. And that includes writing in my journal, the 5-minute journal. So if anyone wants to do that, you can Google 5-minute journal, and it's a little journal available online that I start my day with. Ask you some questions, and then you kind of respond to that, such as what are you grateful for? What are 3 great things that can happen today? The other thing is making sure that I'm having great nutrition and healthy foods, especially in the morning. So make sure I have that, and I get exercise. So make sure that I somehow find time, whether it be first thing in the morning or lunch or after work, to go to the gym. And I have a minimum. So my minimum is 4 times a week of training at the gym, and that is how I manage to not burn out, or try not to anyway. Okay, next question is by Vanessa Tabaracci. Hopefully I pronounced that right. She asked me, what would you do when you have a new job and you feel like they don't give you anything to do? Do you ask for tasks or do you wait? Definitely don't wait. It's better to be proactive and ask than to not ask. It's better to be thought, wow, she's really keen, as opposed to, wow, she doesn't seem like she's really interested. She's not really proactive, or she's not helping out. So ask by all means, and also try to think of ways to improve the business or the role, or offer to write a blog post on their blog, or if they don't have a blog, offer to create one for the company, or take over their social media and take charge of that. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do. So definitely be proactive as much as possible. So the next question is from Rebecca Kennedy, and she asks, how much of who you are dictates how far you get in the industry versus how talented you are? Who are you, meaning personality, passion, interest? I'd say 50-50. You definitely have to be talented, but I think just like the quote by Kevin Durant, where he says something along the lines of hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard, is so true. If you look at Michael Jordan, he shot 300 baskets every day, and we all know the stories of all these successful people who never really were naturally talented. I think some people are, some people aren't, but at the end of the day, it's how much you want it, and how far you get in the industry is exactly that. How much you want it, and a lot of that has to do with your drive and your personality and your passion. So the thing with design, the cool thing about it is you can learn a lot of the stuff. All of these things that make up a designer can be learned. People even dismiss not pursuing that path because they say, I can't draw. Well, to be honest with you, a lot of it is about ideas. And if you can articulate that, even with a rough sketch or a scamp or even a mind map or keywords, there are many different ways to articulate an idea. You don't have to be a great drawer as such. And remember that being a designer is a commercialized artistry. And, it's not so much about painting and that guy's loving it. He's yelling, are we on? We are definitely on, live, recording. All right, so hopefully that answers that question. Which is why I enjoy traveling. So I think traveling gives you that personal growth that money will never be able to buy, or someone will never be able to teach, because the perceptions that shape in your mind are only really created by the paths that you take, or the places that you've gone to, or the conversations that you've had with people. So by all means, read things that aren't design related, go to things and do things that aren't about creativity as such, because I think you'll find that all of these things will craft you to be a unique person with different thoughts and ideas, and at the end of the day they want people that can bring something new and fresh to the table. Okay, final question here from Stacey Spencer. She writes, I'm just transitioning into the world of graphic design from the world of jewelry creation and motherhood. Congratulations. I'll be attending the Art Institute of Pittsburgh in the fall for a 1-year diploma program and have been taking classes at lynda.com. What is the most important piece of advice that you can offer me? The most important piece of advice, besides getting a mentor and finding mentors, which I mentioned earlier, is creating your portfolio and getting it up as soon as possible. Now that means that yes, you're going to have work that's possibly premature, that you're not going to be completely happy with, but that's okay. And it's important that you build an online presence and an online brand for yourself and have something up than nothing at all. The other thing is that your portfolio is going to demonstrate your abilities. So you also have to keep in mind that the work that you're putting up on there is in line with the work that you're wanting to apply for, the jobs that you're wanting to get. So if you're putting jewelry creations and you've got all your jewelry work on there, and then you're applying for digital design roles, for example, or graphic design roles, then there's going to be a mismatch, and then they're just going to close your portfolio and never contact you. So it's got to be relevant, and that means that if you haven't got that work, then the thing that you're doing right now is exactly on the money. You're about to start a diploma program, and you're doing work from lynda.com. So by all means, design personal projects and work on dummy briefs and put them up there. There's absolutely no harm in doing that, and then just caption them and say that this was a personal project, and put the parameters of that on there. Alright guys, so that wraps up the very first Ask Me Anything video. I'm thinking of doing this once a month if you like it, so definitely shoot through some more questions. On Twitter and Instagram, I'm at The Giant Thinker, and I did say that I was going to give away to 5 people a special gift. And Rob Bob from Facebook asked, what is the gift? I'm glad you asked that, Rob. So I will tell you all that the gift is a half-hour private consultation online with me. So that is via Skype or Google Hangout, and we can talk about your portfolio, we can talk about your designs and your concerns, whether it be interview situations or networking or finding a mentor, whatever it is, we can just have a chat. So half an hour, private chat with me, and I can help you with anything that you want. Hopefully I can give you some tips or whatever situation you're in at the moment in terms of your career path. So the winners, the 5 people are Sharita, Alicia James, Vanessa Tabarachi, nictecreativedesign, that one was from Instagram, and also Linda Sev from Facebook. And I'm feeling a little bit generous because I was overwhelmed by the amount of people that sent questions, so I'm throwing in another one, and the 6th person is Paul Benzi Florendo. Paul Benzi Florendo. Alright, thank you so much for joining me, guys, and hopefully I can hear more from you, and I will speak to you all soon.